satraya dikshitaha.
Itam bhutanubhavoyam
Idhang bhutanubhavoyang
Abhimanyu suto nripaha
Abhimanyu suto nripaha
Yasya palyatakshonim
Yasya palayatakshonim
Yuyam satraya dikshitaha
Yuyang satraya dikshitaha.
Itam bhutanubhavoyam
Idhang bhutanubhavoyang
Abhimanyu suto nripaha
Abhimanyu suto nripaha
Yasya palayatakshonim
Yasya palayatakshonim
Yuyam satraya dikshitaha
Yuyang satraya dikshitaha. Ambhutanubhavoyam Manyu suto nripaha
Yasya patyatakshanam nanyam
Yasya palayatakshonim
Yavam satvaya
dikshitaha.
Itam bhutanubhavoyam
Idhang bhutanubhavoyam
Abhimanyu suta nripaha
Abhimanyu suto nripaha
Yasa palatasanam
Yasya palayatakshonim
Yuyam satraya dikshita
Yuyam satraya dikshitaha.
Itam bhutanubhavoyam
Itang bhutanubhavoyang
Abhimanyu suto nripaha
Abhimanyu suto nripaha
Yasya palayatakshonim
Yasya palayatakshonim
Yuyang satraya dikshita
Yuyang satraya dikshitaha.
Itabhutanubhavoyam Itambutanubhavoyam
Itang bhutanubhavoyang
Abhimanu suto nripaha
Yasya palayatakshonim
Yasya palayata shonim
Itang
Yuyam satraya dikshitaha
Itam bhutanubhavoyam
Ithang bhuta being thus anubhavaha experience ayam of this Abhimanyu sutaha son of Abhimanyu Nripaha the king Yasya whose palayata on account of his ruling Shonim on the earth Yuyam you all Satraya in performing sacrifices Dikshitaha initiated. Translation: Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Abhimanyu, is so experienced that by dint of his expert administration and patronage, it has been possible for you to perform a sacrifice such as this. Purport: the Brahmanas and the Sannyasis are expert in the spiritual advancement of society, whereas the Kshatriyas or the administrators are expert in the material peace and prosperity of human society. Both of them are the pillars of all happiness, and therefore they are meant for full cooperation for common welfare. Maharaj Parikshit was experienced enough to drive away Kali from his field of activities and thereby make the state receptive to spiritual enlightenment. If the common people are not receptive, it is very difficult to impress upon them the necessity of spiritual enlightenment. Austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, the basic principles of religion, prepare the ground for the reception of advancement in spiritual knowledge. And Maharaj Parikshit made this favorable condition possible. Thus, the rishis of Naimisharanya were able to perform the sacrifices for 1,000 years. In other words, without state support, no doctrines of philosophy or religious principles can progressively advance. There should be complete cooperation between the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas for this common good. Even up to Maharaj Ashoka, the same spirit was prevailing. Lord Buddha was sufficiently supported by King Ashoka, and thus his particular cult of knowledge was spread all over the world. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, 17th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Punishment and Reward of Kali. Hare Krishna. So, we're an association of devotees and we're hearing the Bhagavatam. We're very fortunate. One devotee visited our temple at the Govardhan Puja and he mentioned that there's a very nice community here and we're very fortunate for that. And we should keep it going. So, it's interesting that society, it needs persons who are managers, and also persons who are guiding with the higher principles of life. You know, so that's being mentioned here, that the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas are meant to work in cooperation for the common welfare of the people. And some persons are naturally inclined more towards managerial positions or administrative positions. And the qualities of these people are discussed in Bhagavad Gita, as we've been touching on in the 18th chapter, text number 44 and 45. The qualities of the Brahmanas are listed. Then the qualities of the Kshatriyas are listed. So, some of those qualities for the Brahmanas are cleanliness, purity, austerity, religiosity, self-control, like that. And with these qualities, they can, there's also mentioned, jnanam, vijnanam, astikyam, that they have knowledge, jnanam. Then they also have vijnanam, which is realized knowledge, or it's been scientifically verified by personal experience. That's why we oftentimes, again and again, our acharyas will mention, Prabhupada will stress, this is science. This is science. This is science, what we're doing. Don't think it's sentimental movement. You know, Prabhupada was mentioning in this morning, right? Don't think that this is sentimental. Okay, make sure that's turned up nicely.
Hare Krishna.
A little bit over here at the computer.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. This verse, the purport, Srila Prabhupada stresses the importance of the Brahmins and the Kshatriyas cooperating together. Brahmins and Vaishnavas or sannyasis are supposed to take care of the spiritual side of society. So that, you could say, is the duty of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, to train up brahmanas and sannyasis and Vaishnavas in the transcendental knowledge, in the practices of devotional service, performing sacrifices, teaching, as you were saying, the qualities of a Brahmin, the occupations. However, the Kshatriyas, the administrators, the governments of the world are not, it doesn't appear they're doing their part very, very sufficiently. And so Prabhupada also considered that to be one of our duties, is to interest them. And there's different ways to interest them. I would say two would be primary. One would be to show examples on our own organization of society on a small scale. They can get an idea how it would work. It's like you said, someone commented yesterday, this is a nice community. This is a small little community. And a microcosm can give the administrators an idea of the vision of what it could be like if it gets bigger. So one would be to set an example in depicting such a society, which we can do. And the next would be to approach the administrators and try to stress to them and speak to them and show them what we're doing and tell them how it would work, why it would work, answer all their questions, support them. So Prabhupada did both. Prabhupada established New Vrindavan, the first rural community with men, women, children, animals, planting, everything. And he established many other rural communities as well, along the same lines. And at the same time, he was training up the brahmanas and sannyasis to go out and give this knowledge. So we give out knowledge in the form of books, and we approach the common people. However, Prabhupada also himself personally made a big effort to speak to leading persons of society. That includes administrators or leaders of government. Although the system of the temporary terms that they have pretty much everywhere, where they can only serve for a certain term of years, say 3-4 years, or 2 times, and then they have to get someone else. It's not the easiest to work with for ongoing administrative coordination. But anyway, we can try our best to use what systems they have in place and convince those who are at least temporarily in office to try to employ our principles and support us. Because Prabhupada's saying here, without the support of the government, then it will be very difficult for just the brahmanas and sannyasis to enact all the things that they want to do, because it's not their field. So Prabhupada also went, for example, in India mostly, he would meet with prime ministers or presidents of the country. Every time he got a chance to meet with a big administrator, he took it very seriously. And he trained his senior disciples to take it very seriously, because one word from them in our favor can do a wonderful thing. For example, if you read the letters or the Lilamrita, you know that in the early days of preaching in India, there was a system that foreigners could only come to India and get visitors visas. I think it was for 6 months they could stay. Then they had to go out of the country. So in the beginning, the movement in India was made up of Westerners, mostly Americans and Europeans. Prabhupada would bring them over, and then they would establish the temples, they would do the preaching. In India, there were no Indians at that time who had joined. So Prabhupada was spending a lot. The money was being spent for going in and out of India, which is expensive flying, and it was troublesome to organize the movement. So he would, whenever he got a chance to meet influential administrators or influential people in society, he would ask them to please help us, give us government help so that they can change the policy towards our foreigners, because our foreigners are not coming here for business or for sightseeing. They're coming here for doing the work of India, doing the work of propagating the Vedic culture. And there's no more valuable work. Why doesn't the government support this? So anyway, he went on and kept doing this. And after some time, it actually happened. They took these requests seriously. Someone had the influence to do it, and they did it. So that then the devotees could stay permanently and different things. So whatever we feel is important should be taken up by the governments. And I would suggest that the senior devotees take this responsibility to approach leaders of society, administrators and others, and try to impress upon them the importance of Krishna consciousness on their level and how they can introduce it and support this movement and all these types of things. Then we will have a wonderful cooperation between government and the spiritual side. So the spiritual side and the material side, taken up by the Kshatriyas, will be in sync together. Thank you.
Jai. It's a big task. It's kind of what's the word I want to say? It's a tall order to approach these people. The thing is that most of these government officials, as we have heard in previous purports and lectures, that they're actually inimical towards the God conscious movements, but we try to impress them, and when persons become reasonable, then they will see that these devotees, they're high class citizens. That's, if you're going to be factually a devotee, then all good qualities will be manifest there. So Bhakti Damodar was saying that we have to flash the diamond of Krishna consciousness. It's not so much that the diamond is naturally attractive, right? So you just present it to them, and by its glow, you just put it there in front of them. Then they will be attracted. But Bhakti Damodar was mentioning that, well, I need to get that diamond myself. Then I can show it to people. So that is what we do. And as Maharaj was mentioning, Prabhupada is training us. And, personally, I'm going kicking and screaming hopefully faster rather than slower. But this is an adventure. When I hear that we're meant to work as a team to impress and explain Krishna consciousness, the benefits for the society to the administrative class, pretty much on a continual basis, then that sounds like a great adventure, you know? This is a transcendental arena to save the earth. So we're working on many fronts, and we saw Prabhupada. He was so multifaceted in his attack on Maya. I mean, it was amazing, you know. He was always working on so many levels, so many different fronts were there. I had a thought that there's a pastime, Bhakti Tirtha Swami. He was known for working with many, cultivating many diplomats and contacting many leaders of different movements and groups of people, administrators in different capacities. And one time there was some administrator that came to visit a center that he was responsible for, I think, as far as I understand, in Nairobi, Kenya. And he brought that person there, and Bhakti Tirtha Swami showed, just look here at who is in this community. There's this person from that part of the world, this person from that part of the world, this ethnicity, this cultural background, this religious background, and they're working peacefully. Where do you ever see that? Where can you see that? You can't. So that was a convincing demonstration, as Maharaj was mentioning. Our communities should be exemplary. That is not easy. But when we ourselves are tasting some of the nectar of Krishna consciousness, then we know that, you know, I'm getting my benefit, you know, by giving my time and energy to this mission, to being exemplary in my behavior, my activities. And there's so many improvements that are to be made, you know, on a personal level. And then those improvements that we make personally, they can move on into the culture of the community. And so we should try to be exemplary, at least if we want to, you know, try to be exemplary in our practice of Krishna consciousness, then maybe Srila Prabhupada and Krishna will help us to give our efforts in that direction. And whatever efforts we make in the direction of to be exemplary in Krishna consciousness, not for our own sake, but for all glories to, you know, the assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, right? All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. So this is the work. So there's another point that I wanted to mention, but maybe devotees can share something. Prabhu, and then Murari Prabhu. Yes, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna. I know that it's our Krishna consciousness is a peace formula. And when practiced correctly, you have a first-class temple like this one, where devotees are trying to do the right thing in Krishna consciousness. And I know that we try to reach out to people like politicians too, but isn't it, it's not always going to be taken, our peace formula, because it seems to me like the material world has to have its ugliness in order for us not to be attracted to it. So I don't really blame politicians for what they do, but I kind of think that it's part of the process of what Maya has to do in order to keep us on point. And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, there will be many enemies that arise and present themselves as impediments. But there's one nice phrase I like to remember too, is the dogs will bark, but the caravan will pass. You know? So it's normal. But we should also take it as, yes, there will be contrary elements, and this is our battle. Or else we'll just think, well, the world is saved already, you know? Just let them do whatever. But we have our fight to do. Murari Prabhu?
I was just thinking about the development of community, and to my mind came like diversity between the devotees. That actually it can be our strength. That like all devotees are different, and we should learn to see it like that. Because sometimes we have the mentality that everybody should be like I, or something, but we should try to accept the personality as it is and to cooperate together, like in the spreading of Krishna consciousness. And when people see that, he's like this, he's doing like that, and they see all this variety, so they can understand, oh, okay, I can be also a part of this. I doesn't need to be just like that, just in some square. Because usually people are looking in us, like that we are just in some square, in some shelf, that we are just shave-headed, just going like this. They see just the external things. But actually when they see the devotees are, like doctors and many other work in the material world, and they are still devotees, so they will join. So therefore we should be thinking also in that way, that not everybody will be living in the temple or is living in the temple. So this is the reality. But everybody can be Krishna conscious, and that can be achieved if we actually see the individuality of the person, and that person, usually every person have like, in one sense, some individual relationship with the Lord and individual approach to the Lord. So in this way, if we just understand and just try to help the people, that they just should put also Krishna in their life, So they slowly they will progress and surrender on their level where they are. And yes, I was just thinking.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Yes, if somebody is chanting Hare Krishna, they receive their knowledge from the bona fide system of acharyas, then we want their association, whatever they have to give in that, then we should accept that part of it. share with them anything that we have gotten from our process. So let us continue working together for the benefit, for our benefit, for everyone's benefit, for the common welfare. And all glories to the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prabhupada.